In the fall of 1956, Jackie Robinson participated in the Brooklyn Dodgers' Goodwill Tour of Japan, marking his final games as a player before retiring. True courage is continuing to move forward despite feeling fear. The difficulties you face may be the door to the future. So now is the time to turn your fear into strength and walk your own path. Your challenges will become the next light. The power of belief creates the future.
I didn't intend, ladies and gentlemen, to come down here and get into this kind of a harangue tonight. But I have been moved tonight. I have been moved by the singing. I have been moved by the kinds of spirit that each one of you have exhibited. And I have been moved by the cause that brings so many of you out day in and day out, putting your lives on the line so that America can be free. Now, people have been saying that, yes, but Jackie Robinson, of all people here in this country, you have less right to protest against what's going on than anybody that I know of. Had it not been for Branch Rickey, a white man, you would not have had the opportunity of going into baseball. They went on to talk about all of the advantages that I as an individual have. They talk about the home that I have in Stamford, Connecticut, and I must admit I do have a beautiful home. They talk about the automobile, they talk about the job, they talk about my bank account. Where they got that from, I don't know, because I put my money into my home. But they did talk about my bank account. They said, Jackie Robinson, you have it made, and you ought not to be a part of this movement. Now, I thought about this for a few minutes. It came to me in the form of an article written by a Miami newspaper man. And I sat down and I wrote this fellow a letter. And I said, I admit that I have been fortunate here in this country, and I am pleased that people have given me an opportunity. But you say that I have it made. I said, do you remember Nat King Cole in Birmingham, Alabama? Do you remember do you know about the kinds of ability that Nat King Cole has? Do you know how much money Nat King Cole makes here in this country? And have you ever seen his beautiful home out in California? I said, you could also say that Nat King Cole has it made. Birmingham, Alabama, and tried to sing before an integrated audience. A bunch of white hoodlums jumped up on the audience and beat Nat King Cole up simply because Nat is a Negro. And I said, do you remember Lena Horne, with her tremendous beauty, with her tremendous amount of ability to earn money, to go to people and let them know the kinds of contributions that she has been able to make? I said, with her talent, you could also say that Lena Horne has it made. Or a man out in San Francisco, California, who they say is making more money than anybody else in the game of baseball, and perhaps is the greatest ball player to ever put on a uniform, Willie Mays. I said, do you remember what happened to Willie Mays when he went out to San Francisco and tried to buy a home? He was rejected in such a manner that the mayor of San Francisco had to stand up before the world and say that Willie Mays is a wonderful American, and I would be proud. I would be proud to have him come and live in my home. But Willie Mays, because he is a Negro, was subjected to abuse, and you could also say that he has it made. And I say to you that whether you like it or not, and whether you think that we ought to participate, that there is not one Negro, not one that I know in this country, that has it made until the most underprivileged Negro in St. Augustine, Florida has it made. Seeing what's been going on in St. Augustine, seeing what's going on in Maryland, observing Birmingham, observing the hoses and the dogs and the prods and the police who have been so brutal that you wonder how they could ever attempt to uphold the law. And they saw to it that they have children of their own. And unless they do participate, their children are going to look at them someday with contempt. They can't look at these gentlemen with contempt. They can't look at you with contempt. I want to re-emphasize to each and every one of you my tremendous pride and pleasure at having this wonderful opportunity of coming down here to say a sincere thank you, to let you know that what you're doing in so many ways makes it so much easier for me. I'm being a little bit selfish, but nevertheless, it is true. You ought to be proud of the contributions that you're making. And I hope that you have the strength and the courage and determination to continue. I hope that each one of you, as we leave this hall tonight, rededicate ourselves to this cause for freedom, to let everybody know that we really are at the crossroads. They can no longer sit on the fence. They've got to get off of it and join the struggle if we are to achieve equality and freedom in our time. It's a wonderful opportunity. You're a wonderful bunch, and I thank you once again for your contributions. And I certainly believe that before it's all over with, every American is going to say thank you, just as I have done here tonight.